In Season 15, the players find themselves in the city of Tokyo in the year 2467. The robots have replaced all human jobs, leaving nearly everyone unemployed. Each tribe is in a different part of the city, part of a different class. Tribe B find themselves in the president's mansion on top of his mansion. The members of Tribe B are President Yamamoto's siblings. With them lives Yamamoto's parents, Dimentono and Fusiko. Gelisimoto is Yamamoto's adult son, while Button is an adopted 1-year-old. President Yamamoto is a tyrannical dictator and controls the city and country with the robots. Tribe C finds themselves on the ground of the city in an apartment with 3 people, being among the majority of population. They are unemployed, but given monthly credit that they can use to buy stuff. They also receive a daily meal. However, their lives are strict, as there is no freedom of speech and, for example, going out at night would be illegal. Tribe A finds themselves underneath the city, in the sub-city, which is where Yamamoto has banished the people he doesn't want to be part of society. The sub-city has no law and barely gets food, meaning the place is divided into gangs fighting for resources. Tribe B lives in an apartment with a gang led by a man called Bakago. Now, Season 15 goes back to the 3-tribe system, each tribe having 5 players. Every day, 2 from each tribe play against the host in a match of Scribble. The points are then combined and counted. The tribe that scores the least goes to vote someone out the next day. Later on, the game will surprise merge into 2 randomized tribes, before it merges into one finally. Now, let's look at the maps and blueprints that the tribes received. Mal said, "Yippee, the game has started." Rebek said, "Let the games begin." Project Premium asked, "Bacco, how Tribe doing?" Golem said, "Good morning." Golem then decided to go on a small mission. Golem has gone to explore the closet inside the apartment late in the evening, when the other residents were already sleeping. On his way there, he noticed that there was a lack of furniture in the apartment. For example, the beds were homemade. Inside the closet, he found weapons stored there: daggers, knives, and baseball bats. He took a couple of daggers with him. There was also a man in the closet who was tied up, and he had his mouth taped shut. He is a member of a rival gang in the subsidy, and your gangmate NPCs kidnapped him earlier today, looking to trade him back. Golem didn't interact with him and left the closet. Then Golem formed an alliance with Mal. Golem said, "Hey Mal, just wanted to reach out. I'm new and you seem pretty comfortable around the game. Excited to hopefully work with you and learn the ropes of the game." Mal said, "Haven't been playing as long as some, but yeah, I've been in like 3 seasons now." Golem asked, "Anyone you rock with as a 3rd member for an alliance to have majority?" Mal said, "Not sure. Hoping we have some more people talk tomorrow when the map opens up." Then Golem formed an alliance with Rebek. Golem said, "Yo Rebek, interested in working with you. I'm new and wanted to be with some active players. You seem like you would be fun to play with." Rebek said, "Why thank you, to be fair. I'm not always active, but I'll try to be. I was in the last season and it was fun, so stick around." Golem asked, "Anyone you talked to yet or get good vibes from?" Rebek said, "Not in our tribe, no. The only person I've heard about that's in this season is someone named Quarter. Haven't had the chance to fully talk to him. But from what I've heard from previous players is that he's one to look out for, manipulating, cunning, and scheming." Golem said, "We should probs try to form a majority, no?" Rebek said, I'd wait to see what the others are like first, and then form an alliance. Space Wolf said, "Hello, Lean, fellow comrade." Lean said, "Greetings, old friend. I would like to apologize for what I did to you and the rest of Goon Cult last season. This season will be my redemption arc." Space Wolf said, "So you're the traitor who voted me out?" Lean said, That was me. I was surprised how long I lasted without getting found out." Space Wolf said, "I had a suspicion but didn't want to accuse." Space Wolf said, "Hello, TG, long time no see." TG Mid said, "This guy seems like bad news. Kill him right now." Space Wolf said, "How dare you?" In the hours past midnight, Lean went to explore the basement level of the skyscraper. He took the elevator from the house on top the skyscraper and traveled all the way down underground. There he found storage rooms, which had old robot models. He detached a robot arm for one that he took with him. He also found paintings of President Yamamoto as a samurai. There was also a painting that said, "Happy Father's Day. You are the worst father ever." There was also a book about the life of President Yamamoto. A bit later, after he went up the elevator to the roof of the skyscraper and to the president's mansion, he found that his demented father, Dementono, was in the brain rot room in the middle of the night. Inside, he was wearing a VR headset and mumble singing something. Lean said, "Dementono." Space Wolf got up from bed and came to the scene, but heard the adopted 1-year-old Button crying in another room. So he went and kicked the door open. Button stopped crying and instead laughed. He spouted his first words, which were "fascism, yay." Space Wolf was proud, almost like a proud father, and threw him to the air multiple times, catching him in between, causing him to hit his head to the ceiling. "Button is fine." Lean then stopped Dementono's brain rot session and took his VR headset off. Dementono said, "God damn it," and tries to take a swing at Lean, but falls over. He says that he wants more brain rot. Lean said, "Grown-on man, by the way. Come on, Dad. Let's go to bed." Dementono pisses his pants as he grunts in acceptance. Lean then put the VR headset on and found himself in a super realistic virtual reality world with an abstract-looking disco room that had brain rot animal creatures dancing to a brain rot song. Meanwhile, Space Wolf went to bed with Button and read Dementono's autobiography, written prior to his dementia. Then, TG Mid has gone on a mission early on in the morning to see the attic of the mansion. Inside the attic, he found boxes of old items, mostly belonging to his and your brother, President Yamamoto. The family has kept an old-fashioned tradition in many ways. They have held on to books even when they became rare to see. There are books that were passed on for generations. These were a Japanese-written book about Nazis and many other questionable books. There was Yamamoto's favorite childhood book called The Art of Dominance. TG Mid found Yamamoto's childhood drawings where he had depicted himself smiling over dead, bloody animal bodies while holding a flower. He had quoted the name of his favorite book on the paper. There were also concept sketches of questionable female AI robots that Yamamoto had formed in his early adulthood. There were more recent sketches of what looked to be a metallic dozens of stories tall robot that had mecha, something, written to the paper. TG Mid sabotaged some of the drawings and drew the female robot sketch to the attic ceiling, finishing his brother's work. He then left the attic and the memories behind. Then Space Wolf created an alliance with TG Mid, but there was no discussion yet. Then TG Mid had a monologue. TG Mid said, "This is unexpected, but fun. I don't really have any master plan this time. I just want to win, or at least have a quarter kingdom winner. I hope this time we actually honor that bond, instead of crossing our fingers behind our backs like last time. Anyway, I'll see what happens today." Early on during day 1, the player, Hasai, quit the game. He died of a heart attack and was replaced by Cheesy Mouse. Porter said, "What's up, guys? Excited for my last consecutive season." Cheesy said, "What's up, peoples?" Nick said, "Where are y'all from?" Cheesy said, Australia, what about you? Nick said, Finland. Postal said, America, eagle emojis. America low-key sucks though. Cheesy said, this is like the Fast and Furious movies at this point. The game, Tokyo Drift. What the hell, Sure X said, I'm done, I can't do this. It's too much pressure. Cheesy said, girl, you good? Porter said, we don't even need to vote yet, are you sure? Cheesy said, LOL. The game hasn't started yet, don't worry. What the hell, Sure X said, I can't, I'm sorry, cut the cameras please. What the hell, Sure X said, what's your problem? Nick asked, what do you mean? What the hell, Sure X said, you got a problem. Nick said, no. What the hell, Sure X said, no, I see you got a problem. Postal asked, so when can I kill someone? Then Quarter formed an alliance with Nick K. Quarter said, so you might end up being the only newcomer in the tribe. How does that feel? Nick said, I don't know. I hope that I don't lose first. Quarter said, you shouldn't be. Just talk regularly. Be active enough for people to know you're here. Nick K said, I'll try. So we are allies? Quarter said, yeah, why not? Then Quarter formed an alliance with Cheesy. Quarter said, just wanted to toss around the veteran players alliance idea. Would you be down? I don't know if Cola will have tribes fight for safety each day, but if not, we could improve our odds of meeting our friends on the other side by sticking together. Cheesy said, usually the first call of action is to get you out cause you're a schemer. Quarter said, that was the old me, I'm better now. Cheesy said, but I want to win this season. Famous last words crying emoji. Quarter said, scheming didn't work very well for me those 2 seasons, but it worked great for me in season 13 because I learned something. It's near impossible to scheme in these new seasons. Small tribes make it nearly impossible, and by the merge, whoever wins is just whichever tribe forged the strongest bonds. Scheming isn't conducive to player success nowadays, so I don't do it. Cheesy said, I'll be honest, I'm shit at Scribble, so if we want to keep our tribe as full as possible, don't count on me. Quarter asked, do you really want to work with me? Because I don't stand any chance of winning, and I will take you to the top if I can. Cheesy said, yeah, I'm cool with that. Quarter said, my one singular ultimatum is we have to get Postal out as soon as we can. Cheesy said, honestly, I think we should prioritize staying strong as a tribe to get more votes post-merge. Quarter said, but whenever we do inevitably have to vote, it should be him. Quarter also created one-on-one alliances with What the Hell Sure X and Postal. However, they went and used today, though Quarter did offer Postal to work with him. Then a group alliance was created, consisting of Quarter, Cheesy, and Nick K. Quarter said, okay, I'd like to propose some math to you too. Cheesy said, oh no, not more math, broken heart emoji. Quarter said, we likely will have to vote in tribe at some point among the 5 of us. If us 3 vote as a group, the other 2 can't possibly mount a defense. If we trust each other, we're completely unstoppable. Nick K said, oh, I see, we 3 have overpower. Then the day came to a close, and the Scribble matches of today were played. Tribe C, aka the Femboy Nation, got the least amount of points, meaning they will go vote someone out on day 2.